For the first time in SFL history, welcome one and all to Lincoln, Nebraska. It's the inaugural game of the first ever season of the SFL's minor league. Today, we kick off a 4-straight game battle between all the SFLm teams right here in Lincoln as the Lincoln Rattlesnakes battle the Albuquerque Atoms. Hello and a very warm welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Chirillo, and joining me for this momentous occasion is Ryan Padell. Ryan, it's a new league, new players, new teams, new coaches. We don't really know what to expect, do we?
No, I'm really excited to see this game start off. The minor leagues is going to be a lot of fun to watch while we're leading up to the championship in the regular major leagues. This should be a fun game to play.
The championship game in the Simulation Football League is this weekend, but before that, we've got 4 games, 8 brand new teams to enjoy on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are in the world. As we are just getting set to kick it off, the kicker, Cliff Allen for Lincoln, has the ball on the tee. At the 30-yard line, he's got his hand in the air. The whistle blows, and it's game on in the SFL's minor league for the very first time. And returned up to the 27-yard line. That's Carter Height, the wide receiver for Albuquerque, returning the ball. Very bright yellowish green uniforms for the Albuquerque Atoms, and brown and white for the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, a very classic looking field. So going right to left of the first quarter of action, under center is Mike St. Green. He's got an I formation behind him with no wide receivers. He's going to be a handoff straight up the middle to Connor Weston. Weston was a backup in Florida for the Storm this season, and then he came over to the Atoms looking for a starting spot, and he's got it here.
Yeah, and I think Albuquerque is going to look at this rushing attack. They have one of the top fullbacks in the minor leagues, and we're going to be looking to see them rely on him and get this running game going.
That fullback is Iggy Smith, although he's not on the field here for second down and 9 after the pickup of 1. St. Green, the left-hander, stands in, has plenty of time to throw, but nobody open. He's going to step up in the pocket, throw an interception. He tried to hit the man underneath, and it was picked off. Out of the second play from scrimmage, the first turnover of the Riders goes to the Lincoln Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, and a great play by the defense there. Mike St. Green had all the time in the world to make a play, but the coverage was just too good from Lincoln. No one was open. Mike St. Green had all that time, couldn't find anyone, and it results in a pick.
He was trying to hit Mackenzie Traeger, and it was picked off by Rufus Ryan, and now, just like that, Lincoln is on offense. Their quarterback is JQ. Running back Luther Gahn and R.E. Mills could also be in the backfield, but right now it's an empty look with Q under center. He's got J. Moss, Tony Hall, and Nathan Barnett to look at and the wide receiver spot. He moves to the pocket, steps up, throws on the right, and is almost intercepted right back, as dropping the ball there was safety Chad Nevels. We'll quickly go through the rest of the defense for the Albuquerque Atoms. So the defensive line, Wolf Justice, Tina Begin, Mufasa Kamau, and Mike Barker. Linebackers, Roland Parrott, Cole Finnegan, and Carson Miller. Corners, Chris Stack and Cameron Shaw, and safeties, Benji Matson and Chad Nevels, who just made the play on the previous play. So second down and 10 now from the 30-yard line. Q changes the play. He's now got Luther Gahn behind him in the backfield. And on second and 10, he takes the snap, fires deep towards the end zone, and is leaping and knocked away. Was intended for Nathan Barnett.
Yeah, that was a deep ball there that surprised me, going for the end zone on second down. And Albuquerque with another great coverage there, making a play on the ball, breaking up the pass before it could even get to the receiver.
Third and 10. Albuquerque trying to limit the damage from the early interception on the defensive side here. Bunch formation left in a 5-wide set, and he won't even have time to get the ball away as JQ is sacked for the first time in this game. Mufasa Kamau came through and bulldozed the quarterback.
Yeah, and it couldn't have come at a better time for Albuquerque. Lincoln was setting up in field goal range, but that sack actually takes them out of field goal range, and they're going to have to punt.
So, best case scenario in a bad situation for the Albuquerque defense is Cliff Allen, or Pete Edwards, rather, is on to punt. He's trying to pin the Adams deep. This ball will bounce inside the 10, down to the 5, 4, 3. Oh, my goodness. A beautiful
Wow.
punt down inside the 1-yard line.
That was the most perfect punt I think I have ever seen. You cannot ask for anything better. It was literally right on the goal line. Just absolutely perfect.
And this is the situation where Connor Weston and Iggy Swift are going to have to step up and get them out of the shadow of their own end zone because that ball is almost sitting on the goal line. And the running backs are almost to the back of their own end zone here. Here's a handoff to Weston up the middle, finds a lane. Oh, and he gets taken down. It looked like he had a clear lane downfield, but from behind he was dropped by Tommy Zanardi.
Yeah, and that's a huge run to make there. He has to get those extra yards and give his quarterback something to work with, some more room so he doesn't have to, worry about that back goal line stepping out. So hopefully he has some more room to work with here.
4-man front constantly shifting for the Rattlesnakes. It's a fake toss to Smith, and Weston gets the handoff, and he gets buried as the Lincoln defense was not fooled. 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, they saw right through that play, knew it was coming. They were able to make a good defensive stand there, and now we got 3rd and 5. It's a huge play for Albuquerque. They don't want to be punting from the back of their end zone.
It might be all in the arm of Mike St. Green here. 3rd and a little less than 5. Got to get out to the 10-yard line. Handoff, Weston. He's got nowhere to go and no blockers in front of him. He's going to lose 3 yards back to the 3-yard line. And Rufus Wright, he has a tackle for loss and an interception. Can't have much of a better start to the game than that.
Yeah, that is a great start. Now Albuquerque's in a tough position here, pinned back on their 3-yard line. And look at how little room the punter has to work with.
That's Ralph Bennington. He's going to try and get this one off quick. He does, but it's going to be fantastic field position for Lincoln inside the opposing 40, inside the 45, and down to the 33-yard line. So 2 very short fields for Lincoln. They couldn't capitalize the first time. It's time to see if they can do it on attempt number 2.
Yeah, like you said, last drive, Albuquerque was able to put up a great defensive stand from about the same position. So we'll look to see if they can do it again.
High formation, under center is Q. Haven't seen a running play from the Rattlesnakes yet. We won't hear. It's going to be a toss out to the near side. And making the catch is Nathan Bennett. He'll pick up 2 yards, 2nd down and 8 at the 31. Moving in the pocket and throws underneath is Q. That's complete for 2 more yards to the 29. Up-tempo offense, not something I thought we would be seeing here in the first 5 minutes of the ball game. But Q is back to pass once again. He stands in the pocket, throws short to his running back, and the spin move will not get gone free. And it'll be a quick 3 and out, or possibly 3 and field goal attempt. I do believe they are in field goal range at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, that was a bit of a interesting play call there from Jose Fuentes, the head coach, to run a hurry-up offense. He must have had a formation that he liked from Albuquerque and forced them to stay on the field.
Didn't work out for the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, and Cliff Allen, the kicker, is on to try and put the first points up for the SFLm. It'll be about a 44-yarder. The kick is away, and it is good right down Main Street, and the Rattlesnakes draw first blood.
Yeah, and it's key to get those points here. And what hasn't been very high scoring in the first 4 minutes, the defenses have come to play, and the points that you get here can mean a lot come down the stretch.
And, we haven't seen the Adams run a play in Lincoln territory yet, and we haven't seen Lincoln run a play in their own territory yet. So it looks like field position and low-scoring defensive games could be the name of the game today. Here is the kickoff return. Albuquerque, nice return up near the 30 to the 28-yard line. Carter Height, the return man for the Adams. Thank you for joining us today in the chat at the SFL YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all being here for the inaugural SFLm game. 5 wide under center, or 4 plus a tight end left, rather. St. Green back to pass, throws short, caught, and a gain of 4 for the wide receiver Eagle Mondavi, who makes his first catch. Mondavi spent time with Chicago this season and is down here with Albuquerque looking to get some starting reps.
Yeah, a lot of players, they come from the major leagues where they may not have as much of an opportunity to get as much playing time, and this is a great way for them to shine.
First quarter running away quickly here, like sand through an hourglass. 6:30 to go at the snap. St. Green lobs it over the middle in a triple coverage, and coming down with the football at midfield is the Albuquerque receiver. Terrific catch by Michael Potter. His first catch of the game.
That was a great play there. Great throw, high top throw, make his tight end go up for it, and he makes a great catch. And they actually get some really good positive yardage there.
Check that. That was Rand Cullen, the tight end, down the field. So, first play run for Albuquerque in Lincoln territory at the 49-yard line. So, and Lincoln jumps off sides, free play for the Adams, and a strike down the field is complete. Past the Lincoln 30 and down to the 35. Nice catch. TJ Punk picks up his first catch. The tight end spent time as a backup in Arizona. He's the number 1 ranked tight end in SFLm.
And that was a great play there by Mike St. Green as well. Recognizing that he had a free play and he could just take the chance, take a strike across the middle, and it pays off really well for him, and now they're knocking on the door.
So 2 straight deep balls have gotten the Adams all the way into Lincoln territory at the 28-yard line. Essentially have flipped the field after the kickoff to open this drive. St. Green back to pass. Stands in the pocket. Now pressure coming. He throws over the middle. This one is complete. Similarly eerie to the throw he threw an interception on earlier in the game, but this one finds the hands of Carter Height.
Yeah, and they're driving really well now. Now that Mike St. Green has gotten onto the Rattlesnake side of the field, he's really throwing the ball a lot better than he had been earlier, finding the open man, and they are now in the 20-yard line.
Inside the red zone for the first time today. Set up at the 16-yard line. Under center is St. Green. Takes the snap. Again, has plenty of time to throw. He lobs it to the far side, and it's off the hands of the intended receiver. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and I think that the Lincoln pressure got to him really quickly there and forced St. Green to throw this ball up and just dropped right off the hands of his receiver, Carter Height.
2nd down and 10 at the Lincoln 16, looking to tie or take the lead here early in this one. The first game of the day here in the SFL's minor league. 4 of them on tap, back to back to back to back. It's going to be an exciting day of football action, and happy to open it for you here on the SFL's YouTube channel. 2nd down and 10. St. Green a check down O'Connor Weston, and Weston is run down and loses 2 yards. Nice tackle in the backfield there by Ben Stackenpiper.
Yeah, now Lincoln has a chance to show off what their goal line defense can do. Once you get into this red zone, every play matters, and Lincoln's actually able to shorten up the field, make a good stop there, and now it's a 3rd and long. See what Albuquerque can do.
4 wide on 3rd and 12. 7-step drop by St. Green. He throws to the 5-yard line. It's caught. Coming back to the football was Mondavi. Did he get the first down? No, he did not. They're going to say he's a yard short at the 7-yard line. That may call for a challenge.
Yeah, and I'm sure the head coach, Jason Williams, is probably getting pretty mad at Eagle Mondavi over on the sidelines there. You know, at that point, I think you need to fall out of bounds, get that first down, but he came upfield and tried to do too much with it.
4th and 1 in the first quarter inside the 10, and they're lined up to go for it. I think they may just try and catch an inexperienced defensive line for the Rattlesnakes offsides. 6 seconds to go, and they're just going to stand here and burn a timeout. Now, this is one of my least favorite things that coaches like to do in the SFL, but honestly, in this situation, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and Lincoln, earlier this drive, just 3 plays ago, they jumped off sides, and they got that free play earlier, so Albuquerque could have taken advantage of that again if it happened again.
And now on 4th and 1, also it's the first quarter, so timeouts not as important as the second half of play. Here is Taco Sicario, the kicker, on for the first time. And this is a relative chip shot from 17 yards. Kick is away, and it is good from 23 yards, is the official marker. So 3-3 with 3:51 to go, first quarter between the Albuquerque Adams and the Lincoln Rattlesnakes. And as we sort of settled into this game, Ryan, we've seen both offenses kind of do well in their second attempt at a drive, but nobody finds the end zone just yet.
Yeah, they're both able to get points on the board, though, and that's what's important, is getting some production out of that offense, out of the field position that you're getting.
It'll be a deep start for the Rattlesnakes. First time they will have received a kickoff in this game, and they'll start from their own 31-yard line after a nice return by Tony Hall. Both of these teams have not used their running backs as much as we thought. We've seen Connor Weston get the carry a couple of times for Albuquerque. We really haven't seen anything out of Luther Gond, the Rattlesnakes man in the backfield. He is behind JQ, who's under center, first and 10 for 31. He will get the football, run left, has a blocker, but he is chased down from the side after a gain of 6 yards.
Yeah, and you said it. I thought we were going to be seeing a lot more of the running backs getting involved early on in this game. You know, try to pound it into these defenses and really test their limits, see what they can do, how they can perform on this level. But both teams opting more to throw it here.
I formation, only a single wide out to the right. Stacking the box is Albuquerque. 8 men in it. They'll only rush 4. Pass attempt forthcoming unless he's sacked, and he is. JQ goes down. The second sack, he's taken the ball game. And that brings up a 3rd down and 12. Tina begin with her first sack of the game.
Yeah, and both of those defensive tackles for Albuquerque getting a sack on the day. That pressure to the quarterback has been key so far for their defense. You know, they had that stand earlier where they stopped the field goal with their sack, and they've been doing really well defensively.
Now 3rd and 12, 4 wide. Q remains under center. Here's a 4-man rush. Q, plenty of time, throwing deep over the middle, and it's almost intercepted. It was knocked to the ground by Benji Matson, the safety, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Rattlesnakes on 4th and 12.
Yeah, that's the second time one of the safeties from Albuquerque has dropped an interception today. But that's okay in this situation because it still limits them to a 4th down, and they're going to have to punt here, and you could get similar field position anyway.
The punter is Pete Edwards. It'll be his second punt of the game. Remember, on his first one, he downed the Adams inside the 1-yard line. Don't think he's going to be able to do that here. As a low snap comes in, he barely got the punt off. It's going to be returned from the 30-yard line and up to the 32. And that is where Albuquerque will start their next drive. Tie game at 3, 2:36 to go in the first. I'm Michael Trimillo. Alongside me is Ryan Caudell for the inaugural game of the Simulation Football's League's Minor League. Try that, saying that 3 times fast. 1st and 10 from just past the 30. Here is St. Green, rolls in the pocket, and he's going to go down. Sacks aplenty on both sides early in this one as Igor Barbatov takes him down. And it's a 2nd down and 16 after the loss of 6.
Yeah, that is a rough start to the drive, and Lincoln's defense is showing Albuquerque that they also have the defense that can come into the backfield, make those stops. Should be interesting.
2nd down and 16, low snap, St. Green pumps, throws down the middle of the field, and it is caught in tight coverage out at the 50 and past the 50 to the Lincoln 49. The deep strike has been working well for Albuquerque so far. Another catch for Eagle Mondavi.
Yeah, Mike St. Green is really showing off his arm here. That's a big, beautiful 30-yard bomb that he gets out to his wide receiver, and they're now in the Rattlesnakes territory.
On 2nd and 16, too. Now in Lincoln territory again at the 49. The pendulum of momentum is definitely swinging Albuquerque's way the second half of this first quarter. And St. Green looked to have a receiver open downfield, but Ryan knocked the ball out of his hand. How about Rufus Ryan at the start of the game he's had? 2 tackles for loss, 3 tackles overall, an interception, and now a knockdown on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he really has been all over the place, and Albuquerque hasn't quite had an answer for him. And it should be interesting to see how they pick him up later on in this game.
Ryan coming into the safety blitz that time. 2nd and 10 from just inside Lincoln territory at the 49. The Adams throw out to Connor Weston. He has some room to run, and he will get 6 yards, and it's 3rd down and 4.
And I think that's one of the biggest plays that we've seen from either running back so far. Both defenses has had an answer for each running back so far in this game, and that was actually a pass out that got some positive yardage.
Handoff, Weston, nowhere to go on 3rd down. It's going to be 4th and 3. Excellent run defense by the Rattlesnakes.
Like it was Tommy Zanardi making a great play there, and now Albuquerque's forced to punt.
Not quite in field goal range at the 43-yard line. Ralph Bennington is on for the first time today to punt for the Adams, wearing black and bright green under their white away jerseys. He gets the punt away from his own 45, trying to pin the Rattlesnakes deep. It bounces into the line, and makes a beautiful Albuquerque favored bounce, and it's down at the 5-yard line. So a couple of impressive punting performances we've seen so far in this game as Lincoln is backed up to their own 5.
Yeah, special teams has been on display in full during this game, and that was a great punt. And now Lincoln's going to have to be on their back end near their end zone.
Tough situation for the Rattlesnakes, who haven't really used the run that much to get out of situations like this. JQ will pitch to Luther Gond. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more, as he was tackled by Roland Parrott.
Yeah, both of these teams are putting up some great run defenses. You know, as we expected earlier in this game, we thought we were going to be seeing a lot more of these running backs getting the ball, getting carries. But because these defenses are performing so well, these teams may be opting to pass even more.
I formation, another handoff to Gond right up the middle. A spin move gets him past the linebackers, and he will be taken down after a gain of 6 yards, making a 3rd down and 4. Probably the most impressive run we've seen from either running back so far today will bring us to the end of the first quarter. For 1 quarter of SFLm action in the books, it's a defensive battle here in Albuquerque. It's the Rattlesnakes 3 and the Adams 3. This is the Simulation Football League's Minor League on YouTube. Second quarter underway, 3rd down and 4 for the Rattlesnakes. Over the middle, almost intercepted, looking for the slant pattern of Barnett. And it's going to be a deep punt again for Lincoln as another 3 and out deep in their own territory goes through.
Yeah, they were trying to run a quick play after the quarter ended, try to maybe catch Albuquerque on the back foot, but they were sharp as ever, making a great play on that slant. And that's a disappointing.
Punting from his own end zone is Edwards. Kick away from his own goal line. Adams going to have a good chance to take the lead here as they will start in Lincoln territory at the 43-yard line. 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half of a 3-3 ball game. Don't forget, the 4 games today are just a warm-up act to the SFL's 14th championship game. That'll be this weekend between the Atlanta Swarm. And I'll get to it after this play. 1st and 10 for the 43. St. Green short over the middle. That one is caught for a gain of 4 yards. Second down and 6. We've seen Albuquerque go deep a couple of times. Now try to get the short game working here. From the Lincoln 39, four-man rush. St. Green is going to go deep. There's a wobbly pass that's knocked away by a diving defender. Looks like Alexander Ramsey knocked that ball away. Third down and 6. Lincoln 39-yard line, and a throw underneath from St. Green is off the shoulder of his intended receiver. Excellent defense there by Zanardi again, and it's going to be a 3-and-out. And Ryan, neither offense has really gotten going in this first half, as evidenced by this 3-3 ball game. Seems that we have lost Ryan Caudell for the moment. I'm sure he will be back momentarily. Punt on the way from Bennington, trying to pin Lincoln deep. I remember in the first quarter, it was mostly Lincoln that was keeping Albuquerque deep. And oh, that's a fantastic play by the gunner to down the ball, leaping back at the 4-yard line. And the Rattlesnakes will be down inside the 4 again. From inside the 4-yard line, 10 minutes even to go. Here, handoff to Gond, and he will fall forward for 1 yard. Three more games today after this one. Tim Hackett and Mike Improta have the call at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then 6 p.m. Eastern, Robert Garrett Jr. and Mark Lopez. At 8 p.m. Eastern, it's Boise. San Jose with Jeff Wilson and Ramos Lynn. A handoff up the middle again. They're really trying to pound the running game here, but inside their own 10-yard line, they're just picking up bits and pieces, bringing up a 3rd and 8. Q under center, 4 receivers to aim at, 3rd and 8 from their own 6. Handoff goes to Gond, and Gond is run down for the backside, gaining only 1 yard. So he gets 3 rushes in a row for Gond, 1 yard each, and it's going to be a punt from the 7-yard line. Nice tackle there by Carson Miller to bring him down. Big defensive contest here early. We want to get involved with those of you in the chat on the YouTube page. If you've got a player in this game, let us know who you are and if you're on the field right now. Punt away from Edwards, and it's going to be another short field for Albuquerque, an even shorter field this time as they'll start at the Lincoln 33. They've got to start cashing these in.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. They haven't really been benefiting much from the field position. Hopefully they can get something going.
Welcome back, Ryan Caudill, to the broadcast booth. I am play-by-play commentator Michael Trurillo as we work through a bit of early season jitters here with the SFLm broadcast booth. I formation. Downing it is Weston. It's going to be a throw from St. Green to the far side. That pass is caught and rumbling out of bounds after a gain of 3 is Mondavi. He's been the favorite receiver so far for St. Green.
Yeah, and for good reason. He's been making some good catches, some good plays, and he is one of the highest rated wide receivers coming into the minor league, so he's going to be seeing a lot of action this entire season.
2nd and 7. Offset eye behind St. Green. 3 receivers to aim at, 2 left, 1 right. St. Green, a 7-step drop. He's going to lob it over the middle, and it's caught at the 15-yard line, and then being pushed out of bounds is Carter Height.
And that was a beautiful play there from Height. Great throw, great catch. Just Albuquerque is really showing off the power of their passing offense so far, and they've been able to get down the field. They just haven't quite been able to get into the end zone.
A couple of the Carsman 11 is Carson Miller. Brian Dynasty is not currently on the field. He's the other quarterback for Lincoln. Here's a handoff up the middle to Miller. Nice run between the tackles, gets him 4. Popot Lincoln is Porter, the Lincoln DE. Taco Sicario, Joshua Williams. Nathan Bennett says, I am me. And Barnett is on the field as well today. CJ Arthur is there. A lot of people here seeing themselves on the big screen for the first time as members of the Simulation Football League. 2nd and 6 now in the red zone at the 11. St. Green in the gun. Pumps once. Plenty of time to throw. Now the pressure comes to the backside and he goes down. All the way back at the 13-yard line. And now it's 3rd and 13. And again, red zone offenses have not been having their way today.
Yeah, it's just super unfortunate there, and I think that was a coverage sack that came in there from Lincoln. You know, Mike St. Green probably couldn't find a person, and then the pressure just got too much for him. He had to go down. It's a long 3rd down. He has to score here.
3rd and 13. Watch them go into the end zone, but he won't get a chance as he's sacked again. Back at the 25-yard line. It's 4th and 20 as racing through for the sack was John Fowler.
Yeah, that was just an amazing play again from Lincoln's defensive line, able to get back into the quarterback. Now they're going to be forced to kick from what should have been a much shorter 20-yarder. Now it's going to be some distance on this one.
Sicario a chance to give his team the lead, but this is going to have to be a 42-yarder. Kick all the way from the right boot of Sicario. It is good from 42 yards, and the Adams take a 6-3 lead. All the scoring so far in this one coming via the kickers. And from 3-0 down, they're now 6-3 up with half of this second quarter gone.
Yeah, these defenses have really shown up to play so far. Both, especially whenever it comes down to the red zone. That's when they've been able to turn it on. The field gets shortened, so the deep balls aren't as much of a threat. So you can shorten up your game as a defense and make those big key stops.
From the 5-yard line, here is Hall, and Hall gets up to the 25-yard line. 6-3 Adams, 5 minutes and 56 seconds to go first half. Mostly been a defensive contest, although Albuquerque does seem the team more likely to put it in the end zone at the moment, just neither team can really get it done in the red zone. Deep ball down the field is almost intercepted from JQ on first down. He was looking for a Hall. And it'll quickly bring up 2nd down and 10. That's about the 3rd time that the Albuquerque defense probably should have had an interception.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was about to say that's the 3rd pass we've seen go up and nearly land in Albuquerque's hands. The defenders have been really good at getting to that ball when it's in the air and making a play on it. It's going to force Lincoln to run the ball here more.
Well, no running backs in the backfield, just 3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. JQ drops back to pass, has plenty of time, dumps it short over the middle, catching the ball and going out of bounds is Luther Gahn. He was lined up at one of the wide receiver spots, and it brings up a 3rd and 3. And this is the kind of situation that I wish the two teams would find themselves in more. 3rd and 3, 2, manageable situations.
We've seen them be able to get these yards on like first down. You know, they're getting the 6-7 yards sometimes, but then they might get sacked or there may be a loss. But now we're seeing these manageable 3rd downs. They can actually convert these.
Single wide out to each side, and it looks like they may give this one to Gahn. Linebacker steps up. It's a play action and a rollout and a throw back across his body goes to no one in particular. Looked like it was intended for Jay Moss, but a tough throw to ask a young quarterback to do ends the drive for the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird play because he kind of rolled out to his right. Looked like he was going to try to play a little bit of a play action, go deep down the right side of the field. And then he comes across the field, across his body, throwing that tight throw, trying to get it close to the sidelines there. It's just a really tough play to make.
Edwards on again, and with such a defensive contest going on, the punters really have had time to shine, as that one is almost blocked, but it gets it away up to the 30-yard line. Nice return. Jump cut gets Carter Height past 2 and up to the 37. We've seen good punting today, Ryan. We've seen multiple punts land inside the 5, teams backed up deep in their own territory, and because of that, we've seen quarters mostly dominated by field position.
Yeah, field position does win you games, and special teams have been perfect so far.
Offset I for Albuquerque with a 6-3 lead. 5 minutes and 22 seconds to go. It's delayed handoff to West to try to pick his way through. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more as Fowler picks up another tackle.
And I like what Albuquerque's doing and trying to run the ball a little bit with the running backs, but both these defenses have been really stout from their front 7, just not letting their running backs get more than, 6 or 7 yards on a play. I've never seen one break it out upfield for a first down.
Still waiting for the running backs to make an impact in this game, and here's another handoff to Weston, and he's going to be run down after a gain of only 1. 3rd down and 9, and again, it's on the arm of Mike St. Green to make something happen downfield.
We should expect to see him air out the ball because he has not been afraid to do that all game. He's been taking some risks with the ball, and we'll see what he can do here on 3rd and 9.
Got 4 receivers to aim at. Good protection. He's going to fire to the far side. It's knocked away. Great coverage down the field that time by Ben Stackenpiper, his second pass defended of the ball game. And it's 4th and 9, another 3 and out for the Adams.
Yeah, and Mike St. Green gave his receiver a chance, gave him that high point ball that he had to go up for, get on the sidelines. But the Lincoln defense making a great play, great stop on the ball, and forcing a 4th down, giving their offense another chance.
And whereas the first quarter seems to go by at a flash, second one dragging by a little bit here. 4:13 to go. And the Lincoln Rattlesnakes will start from their own 25-yard line. Back out on the field, here's JQ, the quarterback for the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, trying to lead his team down the field and back into this ball game. Down 3 with 4:08 to go. And a handoff up the middle to Gond goes right into the teeth of the Adams defense. 2nd down and 9.
Front 7 for Albuquerque has been really good so far as well. Luther Gond just not able to get anything going. It's really frustrating from an offensive standpoint because when you have that running back going, it opens up your passing game so much, so it's rough when they can't get anything.
Plenty of time for Q. Throws short over the middle, caught at the 30-yard line, and getting to the 31 is the receiver on the plate. That's Nathan Barnett again. 3rd down and 4, and let's see if the Rattlesnakes can convert here.
Yeah, they gave themselves a nice manageable short 3rd down situation. They could run it and try to get a gain here, but Albuquerque's been so good against the run.
Over the middle, short pass. Is that good enough for a 1st down? Yes, it is. Nathan Barnett picks up the move of the chains for the Rattlesnakes, and Lincoln is up to their own 35-yard line. And it's the first down by either team in probably about 5 minutes, and it may not be that because Albuquerque is challenging. Head coach Jason Williams throws that red flag.
I think this is a good challenge to make because when I saw it at first, it looked like he didn't quite get across the line. He made the catch, but he got hit immediately. So it'll be really close, and this is a bold challenge here from Jason Williams.
Let's see, like, inconclusive from the replay angle that we had. It almost looked like it should stand, but here we go. Nope, Jason Williams is going to win the challenge, and it's going to be 4th and less than a yard for the Rattlesnakes. And now, let's see if they keep their offense on the field or Pete Edwards is back out on again to do the punting.
If I was them, I would definitely run the punt here. The Luther Gond, his yards aren't exactly guaranteed, so that yard is still kind of a lot to ask, and they're going to take the safe route here.
Kick on the way from Edwards. Fielded. It's a nice deep punt back inside the 30-yard line. And the return by Height gets up to 1st and 10. Derek Tuttle in the chat asks, how do they do so many teams and players with limits of the games that modded? Yes, we use a modded edition of All Pro Football 2K8. We are able to edit the rosters fully, as Cameron Irvine there, Simulationfl in the chat, just said. So, 1st and 10 for the Adams from their own 33. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. 2:43 on the clock. Is a fullback dive straight up the middle from Iggy Swift. And it's 2nd down and 7.
They're trying to get him involved to get a little misdirection in the run game, because maybe if Connor Weston can't get it done, maybe Iggy Swift can. And, you know, the defense may not be expecting the fullback to run the ball, but they did there.
Check that on that play. That was Weston. It was a little bit of misdirection in the backfield. And they're going to line up in this power I again. But this time they're going to throw. St. Green, plenty of time. Over the middle, incomplete, knocked away. Looks like he had a receiver behind the defense, but the ever-present KT Harrell knocks down that pass. And it's 3rd and 7.
That was a risky play to make, but I don't even think he saw Harrell standing there guarding that pass. He was right in position. It was a perfect play by Lincoln.
4 wide, tight end left. St. Green stand under center, takes the snap, 4-man rush, moves in the pocket and throws the ball into the turf as he's being wrestled to the ground by Chris Porter. Another great stand by the Rattlesnakes defense and another 3 and out.
Yeah, Chris Porter makes a great play on the ball there, forcing the quarterback to throw the ball, throw that incompletion. Just a really good defensive stand.
And Ralph Bennington is on again to punt. He stands at his own 20-yard line. No pressure on this punt. He gets it away from the 25. And up to the 30, and spin move will take Hall up to the 31-yard line. That takes us to the 2-minute warning here of the first ever SFLm half. Still no touchdowns yet. We're still waiting for that. But the defenses have been stellar so far. The Adams lead the Rattlesnakes 6-3. Handoff up the middle. Oh, and it is almost a push from the back by the Adams defender allowed Luther Gond to get 5 yards. As
Yeah,
we
that
now
was
2 minutes to go in the second half.
That was one of his better runs of the second quarter there, but he kind of stopped himself, expected another defender when he had some open field, and I think, you know, once his ball carrier vision gets better, with more time playing, he'll improve that greatly.
Q stands in, throws short, looking underneath, and it's going to be short of the first down, 3rd down and 3. That was Larkin on the catch, the second tight end. Not a lot of second down, first down conversions. The few we've had in this game have all been pretty much on 3rd down. And a jump and a free play. It's going to be a first down anyway. And they would have picked it up either way as Jay Moss made a nice catch over the middle. And a first down for the Rattlesnakes here with 1:02 to go. That also stops the clock. And maybe saves Lincoln a timeout as they try and work down the field to try and tie or take the lead before halftime.
Yeah, it's a pretty killer flag. Even though they would get that first down anyway, it does save that timeout, save the time, and it gives the Rattlesnakes some more time that they can drive down the field and maybe find the end zone for the first time.
Andy Hamilton asks, how many punts have we seen? And to be perfectly honest, I've lost count. 1st and 10 for the Rattlesnakes. JQ back to pass, fires short and gone. Jan can't get away from the hard-charging defender, and now here comes the up-tempo offense. With less than a minute to go, 50 seconds and counting. Steps into the pocket, throws on the run, and it's in and out of the hands of the receiver. That was Connor Perry Larkin again, the pass was aimed at, just went right through his hands.
That is just killer for the Rattlesnakes. You know, that was a free first down. If he catches that ball, he gets the first down, potentially gets out of bounds, and that could have been a great play, but it was stopped, and now we're at a 3rd and long here. They're going to have to make something happen.
JQ hasn't really been the most comfortable with throwing the ball downfield, but he's going to have to here. He steps into the pocket, he throws, and it's incomplete. Again, in and out of the hands of the receiver, but I think that time helped on the way by Chad Nevels.
Yeah, I think that was as much of the play it was for the offense. It was more of the play on defense that was made there, making a good stop on 4th and 11. Now Albuquerque gets a chance, gets the ball back, and they have 2 timeouts. They could come down the field and score.
Edwards punt away from the 30. Let's see if the return can set Albuquerque up a decent field position. No, actually, it's fantastic coverage. And Albuquerque will have one of their deepest starting points of the half at their own 22-yard line.
This will be a rough drive for them, but we'll see what they can do for Albuquerque. You know, they've had some deeper starts. They had that start at that goal line, and so they're no stranger to the back of the end zone, and hopefully they can find the other end zone.
I formation behind St. Green, but I don't expect them to be running that much in this situation with only 33 seconds to go. St. Green throws to the far side and complete for 4 yards, and falling out of bounds is Eagle Mondavi.
That's a good play to get some yards. Just get out of bounds really quickly, and that's kind of what you want during these hurry-up drives. Though you do want more yardage, getting out of bounds and getting just any positive yardage is good.
2nd down and 6. Clock stops with 29 seconds to go in the first half. St. Green winds up, fires deep, intercepted at midfield, and the Rattlesnakes have the football. Nate Brown with a leaping interception.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Mike St. Green, whenever you're airing the ball so much out on this same route, the defense is going to see it coming, and that looks like what happened there for Nate Brown. He saw the play all the way, makes a great jump and leaping grab for the ball, and now Lincoln has a chance with 25 seconds, 3 timeouts. They could very easily drive down the field and score.
Yeah, I think if St. Green had put a little more air under that ball, it's into the hands of his receiver, and the receiver had nobody in front of him. It's 1st and 10 for the Rattlesnakes right at the midfield stripe. Here is from the gun JQ. He throws to the far side, knocked away. Tricky throw to complete to Nathan Barnett in triple coverage at 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Albuquerque saw that play from the beginning, and JQ pulled the trigger a little early, so Albuquerque was able to see it happen and making a good play on the ball.
2nd and 10 from midfield. Q pressured his face immediately, steps from the pocket, throws it downfield. It's tipped up in the air and incomplete. He was looking for Barnett again. And number 87 has been the go-to target for JQ in the 2nd quarter, but hasn't been able to come down with a big catch as of yet.
Yeah, it's been a lot of misses from the offense so far on both sides. They just haven't been able to get the ball into the defenders' hands, really. The defenses are seeing the plays, and there needs to be some more there.
A rollout from Q. Plenty of time. Throws on the run. It's incomplete. Man, oh man. JQ did everything in his power to make that play stick, but R.E. Mills could not come up with the football.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. JQ rolls out, he gets out of pressure, and he just throws the ball just a little bit behind Mills, and he has to change his momentum, not able to make a play. Now they're going to have to punt again.
10 seconds left in the half. There's a penalty flag down. We'll see what this is. I didn't see anything. They get against the Adams. It looks like they jumped off sides on the punt. I don't think this changes anything because they're still not going to get the first down out of that.
Just makes a shorter punt.
Yeah, shorter field for Edwards to try and pin the Adams back deep. And with only 10 seconds left in the half, this should be one of the final plays. Kick on the way. It's a high kick. It bounces at the 10. Will it stop before the goal line? No. But the clock does run out on the first half of play. So we've reached halftime in the inaugural game of the Simulation Football League's minor league. The Albuquerque Adams lead the Lincoln Rattlesnakes 6-3. Ryan, we saw a lot of defense in that first half.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have to see these offensives go into the locker room here at halftime, change up their game plan a little bit, try to find a way to get your rushing team involved. Look at both of these teams, not even over 20 yards in rushing. Both of these teams need to get the rushing attack going, get some offense going, try to get some points on the board.
And for all the field position that the Rattlesnakes had in the first half, under 100 total yards for their offense and only 3 points. Albuquerque only 6 points, but more consistent with moving the ball down the field. Just can't get it done in the red zone in 2 trips so far.
Mike St. Green has been throwing the ball pretty well, though he does have 2 interceptions on the day. He has been, taking the risks, and it's paid off for him because his team is up. They've been getting some good yardage from the air, but both defenses have shown up in the run game, and both these defenses are going to have to continue that going into the second half if they want to win this ball game.
We see some of the highlights of the first half. One of the biggest and most important areas of this first half for both teams was the special teams play. Yes, the kickers have scored all 9 points so far in the ball game, but the punters have had a big impact as well. A lot of drives starting inside the 5 for both teams.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen some great punts. Special teams has been all over the place, some great plays there, and both of these offenses, because they are starting back far into their own territory, they can't really get out of there, and it's just rough going for both of these teams.
Live from Lincoln, Nebraska, this is the Simulation Football League's minor league, the SFLm, the inaugural game between the Lincoln Rattlesnakes and the Albuquerque Adams. I'd like to welcome into the broadcast booth now SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine. Cam, good to have you along here for the third quarter. And a question I have right off the top is where did the idea for the SFLm come from?
How about from every single person that's ever been in the league ever?
That is also very true.
Probably the most
amount of people that have been joining, especially since the TV contract thing happened last year. We've just grown exponentially. This was the logical next step, was it not?
Yeah. Probably the most requested thing in league history is, when can we have a minor league? When can we have a minor league? And we always said it, when it makes sense. When it makes sense to do so. And we've just seen so much success over the last year, and look at that. Just took all your offense from you. Go ahead, Torillo.
Down the field goes JQ. That must be his first pass complete of over 20 yards. He finds Jay Moss, and it looks like they're going to tack on another 15 yards because of a late hit against the Adams Benji Matson. Or rather, Chris Stack, checked that, who was on the coverage, came in and rocked him. That might be a little soft there, but they're going to tack on the yards anyway. So I see a lot of questions in chat, at YouTube chat. If you have any questions for Cam, go ahead and put them in there, and he'll answer us alongside Cameron Irvine. I'm Michael Torillo, and Ryan Caudell is alongside me in the broadcast booth as well. 1st and 10 for the Rattlesnakes. Here's Q over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Darian.
We don't want to lose Ryan in this third quarter either, so don't be shy, Ryan.
Yeah, my mic does work. Now.
We got it. Anyway, Torillo, you were asking a question.
Yeah, something I wanted to know is that you put out a SFLm press release a couple of weeks ago. I'll finish my question after this. 2nd down and 10. Q, handoff to Zond up the middle. He goes for one. That there was going to be a bunch of different things we were going to be trying out on the broadcast team, such as trying to having the coaches or players mic'd up, having analysts maybe on the at field level. You know, how do you think those things will implement, and how do you think those things will change the way the SFL is presented going forward?
Yeah, we'll touch on those, you know, maybe 1 or 2 a week, especially here in the matinee games. And moving forward, we wanted to keep things traditional for week 1, but as looks like Lincoln's going to have to kick another field goal here to tie the game. But I think it's going to be interesting. I think some will probably be a hit, some might be a miss, but it's something that we can take to our TV partners and say, hey, you know, we really had a lot of success with this. And it's something that if it's successful, we can transition into you know, into our regular broadcasts. And you know, this league is like the XFL for the NFL. You know, it's a chance for us to take what works, take what doesn't. Not just us. Oh boy, missed the field goal.
No, it's no good as Cliff Allen misses the field goal, and the lead remains at 3 for the Albuquerque Adams.
Wow, when points are at a premium, that hurts. But yeah, I mean, we want to take what you know, what we can from this that's successful, and not only just us, but we want you know, coaches in this league to be able to move up and get great positions. We want
Deep ball down the field is caught, and running behind the defense is Eagle Mondavi, and he has the first. Oh no. It's Michael Potter has the first SFLm touchdown.
And finally, we're seeing these offenses get going. We saw that big play across the middle from JQ to get them into field goal range, but Mike St. Green strikes right back with a throw of his own all the way to the end zone.
Michael Potter, put your name in the record books. You've just caught the first minor league touchdown in SFLm history. I saw a good question in the chat by Mike Baker Cam. Why 2K8 and not a newer game to use as your base for the Simulation Football League?
Yeah, really the most important thing is you have to remember that Madden auto updates, and in a game where simulation is so important, where coaching and strategy is so instrumental, and understanding and adapting to the AI is a skill in this league. It would be very difficult to do that if the AI is constantly changing for better, for worse, you know, etc. And so if we ever entered into a partnership with EA Sports, we could get that erased. Madden's sim engine has improved. We certainly, if you don't think that the SFL, you know, looks at that every single year, you know, you're crazy. But the reality is that when EA Sports pulls their head out of the unknown and finally realizes that this is the way to go, then we'd be more than happy to explore those avenues. But that is the biggest reason. You can't have an auto update screwing with AI and messing up our coaches.
And now let's move from the minor league to the big leagues, as the Adams, or the Rattlesnakes rather, have a first out of their 31. Championship game this weekend. You're going to be on the call as usual, and it should be an explosive game.
And guess what? Breaking news. Cade Stevens will be my analyst for that game. Charles Doherty had a schedule conflict, and happy to reward Cade for his amazing job this season on calls with Eric Vincent, and we've spoken about the game. We'll have Robert Garrett Jr., Stephen Hacker on stats. We'll have a full crew of all-stars, and we're going to have a lot of fun with the game. Two teams that have never met before, or I'm sorry, that have never been in the championship game before, Atlanta and Sioux Falls. And actually, despite Sioux Falls being in the league for 9 seasons, they've only ever been to Atlanta one time in their history. And so it's a very unfamiliar matchup. The teams did not play each other this season. As Khan takes a shot.
Brutal hit. Lagan dropped 1 yard short of the line to gain. Nice hit by Chad Neville's the strong safety there.
But yeah, it should be an awesome game, and we can't wait. Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll have about a 20-minute pregame, about a 20-minute halftime show. We're finalizing some details there. We're working on the finalizations with the expansion teams and all that. So it's going to be a great day.
Just after Gunn got rocked once, he gets rocked again, but this time in the backfield by Tina Begin. Can't pick up the first down, 4th down and 5. And something that's going to happen in the championship game that is only partially related to the game on the field, everybody's been wondering, expansion franchising, it's coming.
2 more. It's exciting. We'll be at 22 teams. That's an SFL record. That means 11 games per week, and a lot of football action for this great, fantastic community.
Nice double spin move there.
Is that BDG out there?
Yeah, I know. We got a mini BDG, Carter Height. Look out, Hollywood. He's coming for you. Speaking of Hollywood, he is probably the front runner for MVP this season. He's just been eating up the league. It's going to be, I think the key matchup on Sunday is going to be Hollywood versus the linebackers of Sioux Falls, because Sioux Falls always has great linebackers. They've always been the top stats of like rush yards against, pass yards against, and I think that's going to be a key to Sunday's matchup.
Yeah, 2 very underrated defenses, and Hollywood is so explosive, but Sioux Falls, probably better than any other team, is terrific sideline to sideline. So just a phenomenal matchup. So many storylines, so much excitement from both squads. It'll be a great day.
2nd down and 8. Handoff middle. And Weston can't get anywhere. And something that I was personally wondering about, and I know a lot of people in the community share this kind of apprehension. With all the things that have been going on in the world, I know the SFL has been a great outlet for a lot of people, but the one in-person event we do a year is the SFL convention, and it seems like it's on the chopping block at this point. Do you have any, a nice spin move for a first down there? Albuquerque moves the chains up to the 44. But do you have any insight for the league and the people who are potentially going to attend about, any updates on the convention?
Yeah, what's going on with the Adams here in the second half, man? They are playing out of their minds. They're playing great. Yeah, I mean, we're in a holding pattern, just like a lot of other entities that have public events and gatherings scheduled.
Oh, it's picked off. St. Green going down the field looking for a deep ball again, and Ben Stackenpaper, who has had 2 deflections already today, gets his first interception of the season.
Yeah, and he makes a great play jumping the route, and that's the 2nd interception we've seen from the cornerbacks of Lincoln. And the 3rd one on the day. Mike St. Green, though he's been airing out the ball really well, he's also been throwing some dangerous throws for interceptions.
1st and 10. Back on the field is Q, and coming in front, it looks like the intended receiver to make the catch is Nathan Barnett, as he gets 5 yards. But yeah, so basically on the convention, stay tuned. We'll know more when we know more.
Yeah, we'll be looking, over the next 14 days to see kind of Jacksonville just opened up beaches, so they're in the headlines right now of some of their decisions. QB sneak right out of the Sioux Falls playbook there, but
yeah, no. or Queen City rather as well.
Yeah, but
They
we'll
use the
be we'll
QB
be
run.
we'll be monitoring what's going on in Florida and with Jacksonville, and look, quite frankly, there's a lot of people that have lost vacation time, are struggling financially. If we do not hold a convention this year, it will be in Jacksonville in 2021. We will work with our same partners to make that happen.
Moving in the pocket and completing the ball and getting free for a first down is Connor Darien. The tight end picking up only his second catch of the afternoon and a nifty little move to get free and move the chains. And don't forget, we've got 3 more SFLm games at 4, 6, and 8 Eastern today. So keep it right here at the SFL's YouTube page for football action all day long. Here's a delayed handoff up the middle for no gain.
Tim Hackett makes his play-by-play debut in the next game. Looking forward to hearing him.
I'm really excited to hear him. And a question I saw earlier in the chat, Cam, I don't know if you could answer this. If someone were to find the league right now, either through one of our YouTube streams with the SFLm or a nice handoff, a swim move to get up a 4-yard gain, my God. But if someone were to find a league right now and come in and start doing check-ins, could they get on the field for the SFLm this season and potentially be drafted?
It just depends on what you're interested in. You know, if you're interested in specific positions, it might be challenging right now. I mean, each one of these teams has over 20 players now on the rosters, and so it's it is a crazy full organization. Oh, good throw.
A nice throw over the middle, pitch and catch to Tony Hall, and he gets upfield, and just as the Albuquerque offense starts to cook up, here come the Rattlesnakes.
Hughes definitely looks settled down here in the second half. But yeah, it just kind of depends. You know, position is important to you. You know, my suggestion would be to you know, to get yourself a prospect subscription, get yourself, you know, in the minor league chatter, and you know, look for the next great opportunity. There's going to be some people that might get hired and might get moved up. So you never know what kind of opportunities you might have.
Plenty of time in the pocket for Q. Throws underneath. It's incomplete. Looked like it was almost going to be picked off by Stack. 2nd down and 10.
What do you think about that, Ryan? What do you, how upset do you get when your receivers drop a pass like that?
Yeah, it's very frustrating, especially when you provide time for the quarterback, you know. When linemen are doing their thing out there and the receivers can't make the play, it's a tough play to make.
Now a 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Talking to Cameron Irvine, SFL commissioner. This quarter's gone by in a flash. Only 3:04 remaining. We have had the first touchdown of the SFLm season for the Adams, and now the Rattlesnakes looking to respond. A nice dive over the middle and getting out of bounds at the 25-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 1. That's Kari Redmond.
JQ is really getting more involved here in the passing game, really willing to throw the ball more, easing off on the brakes. You know, the training wheels are coming off, and he's actually able to put together a really good drive here for the Rattlesnakes.
And I think the big thing must have been coaches' adjustments at halftime, because Jason Williams and Jose Fuentes, who are the head coaches of these two teams, Williams for Albuquerque, and here's another QB sneak, and they pick up the first down at the 24. How about that for a gutsy play call?
Yeah, JQ showing up huge for the Rattlesnakes. You know, he's been throwing the ball. He's willing to get the yards on his own. He's doing some great things for the Rattlesnakes, putting some life into the offense.
And Ryan, he is not the quarterback we expected to see running. We don't have PJ Slaughter in the ball game today. As here's a handoff. Oh, blowing up in the backfield is gone. He lost 4. But next week, it'll be really important to tune into the Albuquerque game, because PJ Slaughter has one of the fastest running speeds I've ever seen on a quarterback in the SFL.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest quarterbacks that you will ever see on a quarterback, and it'll be really interesting to see the play calls that go into that, the different kinds of run patterns that he can do, and the way that opens up the entire field for an offense.
rollout from Q. Throws down the field, and it's knocked away and almost picked off. Man, they've been trying to go back to these rollouts, and it really hasn't worked. And I think none of that is on the fault of JQ. He's been throwing the ball down the field well from that rollout position. And I think you're seeing why a lot of the big league clubs don't really use that play.
Yeah, and I think he needs to get a little bit more power on that throw as well. Just put some more juice on it, make that ball go a little further, and you will usually hit your receivers.
3rd down and 14. In danger of stalling the driver again for the Rattlesnakes, going long. It's bobbled at the 10-yard line and incomplete. Moss had the ball in his hands and couldn't hold on to it through contact, and it's 4th and 14.
That's devastating for the Rattlesnake too, and you saw his stats as well. He only has 1 catch on the day, 6 targets. He has not been able to pull in the ball, and it's been really frustrating for the Rattlesnake to watch, as that would have continued this drive, prolonged it, gotten them the first down, but instead they're just going to have to settle for another field goal.
Cliff Allen on again. Remember, he missed his last one from a similar distance. This one from 45. It is up, and it is good. So for the first time since the first quarter, the Rattlesnakes check the scoreboard. It's 13-6 Adams. Remember, we have SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine in the booth for this game, so if anybody in the chat has questions for Cam regarding SFLm, the championship game, the off-season, anything at all, throw them in the chat, and we will be sure to ask him. Once again, I'm Michael Torillo, play-by-play commentator, and Ryan Caudil is alongside me as an analyst.
How about the 187 viewers right now for this game? In the Season 4 championship game, the league had 30. That was for a championship game of the Pro League. So it just,
and that was a record at the time.
It was, and it just goes to show you the enthusiasm around our community. Our Discord server we're 9 away, 1,991 members in the Discord server, so we're 9 away from that 2,000 mark. It's just, it's quite remarkable. We've grown about 800% in the last 9 months.
Moving in the pocket is St. Green, and he throws it the 4th pick of the game. And it's going to be a beautiful chance for the Rattlesnakes as they're in Adam territory at the 25-yard line.
That was an amazing play, exactly what Lincoln needed as well. The defense needed to make a huge stop yet again, and their 4th interception of the game, giving their team some good field position. They hopefully JQ can just pick up right where he left off and take his team into the end zone, tie up this ball game.
And I think maybe just a bit of jitters there from St. Green. He threw that ball right over the middle of the field where 3 linebackers were waiting for it. And now Q throwing short to the near side, caught by Barnett. He'll stumble out of bounds after a 3-yard gain. While we've got you here, Cam, there was a question posed in your chat with the commissioner stream a couple weeks ago that you answered, but maybe I'd like a little more information. Somebody asked you about expanding into other sports, basketball, baseball, etc., with this same concept and making a whole, simulation sports network as a run up the middle goes for 2, bring it to 3rd down and 5. What are your thoughts on people saying that is the next step for us?
Well, I think first you have to understand, if you're a person saying, oh man, that would be amazing, first you have to understand just how much work and effort goes into this league. And then not only this league, but then it's minor league as well. And so really it's about, being able to get better automation on these processes. These video games are meant for people to have controllers in their hands. They're not built for what we use them for necessarily. And so because of that, there's a lot of things that are not just an automatic lock of, oh, this is easy. We can just put this game on and then put the controllers in the middle and then we're good. Now we have a league. That's not how it works at all. So working with tech companies to automate the process and and make it to where it becomes a lot easier to generate rosters generate teams, generate schedules, generate statistics and leaderboards and all sorts of stuff. And I can assure you, we've been in discussions with tons of tech companies, big and small, in the video game space, not in the video game space, you know, that do a lot of different things and have a lot of different goals for their specific companies. So we're excited for the future, and you know, I always say, people ask, you know, where do you see the SFL in 5 years, or where do you see us in 12 months? And I think that's one of the craziest questions you can possibly expect an answer on, because things can change at the drop of a hat when you're creating your own category. And so we're just having fun, and we'll see where the ride takes us next.
Fox Highwind has an interesting follow-up question to that, which is, have you ever thought about working with other people that do things in a similar space?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is, you know, too many chefs in the kitchen, so to speak. We've spoken with a lot of leagues. I'm friends with a handful of commissioners out there, and respect, you know, the things that they do, and everybody does things a little bit differently. And so I think at the end of the day, there's a market for lots of people in their interests. And in our league is about engagement, immersion, community interactivity, being sucked into this world that we really try to create, you know, for people. And different leagues have different priorities, and that's ours. And I think for now, we're focused on making our community better, and taking a lot of talent and from a lot of talented people and putting them in the positions to succeed for themselves and for the SFL too.
Yeah, nice run by Connor Weston up the middle to end the third quarter. Lincoln trying to claw their way back into this football game. It's Albuquerque 13, Lincoln 9 as we head to the fourth quarter of the inaugural game of the SFLm. We'll be back, or we will continue rather, right after this. $11 more minutes on the clock. 4 is up in the chat on YouTube. Michael Turillo, Ryan Caudell, joined by Cameron Irvine, is in the booth as we've been talking to him throughout the third quarter. Here's a nice little pass out to the near side for 5 yards up to the 35-yard line as Albuquerque begins the fourth quarter. That was Iggy Swift, one of his first touches of the ball today.
And it looked like, you know, they're trying to finally get the running game going a little bit, and that should be interesting to see here coming into the fourth quarter.
First time we've seen Power I, 3 in the backfield for Albuquerque, is maybe they're just going to try and look to run down some clock. They fake the fullback dive, and the pass is deflected off a lineman's helmet, flies straight up into the air, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Looked like is intended for someone in the middle of the field, trying to just air the ball out more. Mike St. Green trying to, you know, get that yardage with his arm, but fortunately the linemen are just a little too tall.
Four wide, 3rd and 5. Hand off Weston, burst of speed. Did he get there? No, less than a yard short. Nice stand by the defense from Lincoln. Eric Duggar brought him down on 4th and inches, and so we'll see what the Adams go for here. It looks like Bennington is on to punt.
Yeah, the running back's yards aren't exactly guaranteed, so it's a good call here to probably punt this ball out and give the Rattlesnakes a chance to fight back.
Kick all the way. Rattlesnakes will have the ball back as a big hit on Tony Hall puts him down at the 24-yard line. We're still talking with SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine, and I guess I can't ignore it anymore. Andy Hamilton several times in the chat has asked for a raise.
Who's what?
Yeah, exactly. Handoff, gone. Nice run up the middle. The running backs have really come alive here in the past 5 minutes, both Weston and Gone. They're both trying to put up some numbers. Remember, both of them had under 50 yards rushing in the first half.
In all seriousness, though, if I loved the Andy Hamilton, our director of social media, the game day graphic today highlighting the M in gold for game day with all 8 SFL minor league identities. Look at JQ, man. He's auditioning
another quarterback dive
for the Sparrows and the Corsairs here today. But yeah, some phenomenal visuals, from our social media department, his team, and the league would not be the same without him.
First and 10. Back to pass Q. Plenty of time in the pocket. Checks it down to Gone, who can't get away from the tackler gain of only 3. SFL Fowler, who is, I'm quite sure, John Fowler, the DE for Lincoln, asks if he can buy a Lincoln jersey. So that's a question for you. Will the SFL minor league teams have merch availability through our partners at Sector 6?
I think when we get to the point that minor league teams are affiliated with their parent clubs, and we get a little bit more organization from that side of things, I think you'll start to see some of that, because players, I see, long term, the minor league being a place where you don't necessarily just play in it for a season. You might be in it for a season or 2 or 3 there to develop your player, and if you're in the program with with that parent club, I could totally see that merchandise being a hot seller. You've got your minor league jersey, then your major league club jersey once you're finally able to to find your way and find a spot. So I think the answer is not early on, but as the minor league starts to become more of a cemented in SFL culture, you'll definitely see some of that.
Nice catch by tight end Perry Larkin to move the chains from the Rattlesnakes. They're up to their own 46-yard line, and going deep is Q into double coverage, and it's incomplete. Ryan, they've really been targeting Nathan Barnett a lot today. 12 passes thrown his way.
Yeah, you're right. They've been going all over the place with the ball. JQ's not afraid to throw it, but unfortunately, it looks like his receivers have been afraid to catch it so far. With so many drops, it's really been a question of production.
Now second down and 10 for their own 46. And off middle. Nice spin move, and tries it again by God. He'll pick up 8 yards. It's Commander Watchman's first time watching the Simulation Football League. We're glad you are joining us today. And if you want to know a little bit more about us, the Simulation Football League is the first controllerless esport, allowing you, the viewer, to participate in all the action on the field without a controller in your hands. Visit simulationfl.net for details on how to get started with the team and the league, and I'm sure one of our wonderful mods can give you a link to our website. Q, middle, incomplete, drop by Moss. And Cam, Scott Stover asks an interesting question. Will the minor league eventually be structured like the NCAA, where people can stay up to 4 years to develop more, or just announce going in the draft, or will it be more of an MLB minor league type situation where you move up when you're ready?
Yeah, I see it as more of a MLB type system, entering into the program, and essentially, getting drafted when you're ready, when your name is called. You could stay for 1 season or 2 seasons or 3 seasons. It doesn't much matter, right? It's all about when the opportunities come up, and this is a great way. I mean, the SFL season is almost over. We have 1 game left in the championship, and usually we're talking about the SFL withdrawal. And there is no withdrawal. 190 viewers right now. We've been on 12 straight weeks, and it doesn't matter. People, people love the SFL. I love the SFL, and this is just another avenue. It's really interesting too. I mean, the game's 13-9. We don't have as much offense as we're used to seeing in the major leagues, but these are new coaching staffs and all new players, and everybody out there is so new and fresh, and that in itself is fun.
St. Green going deep, interception! It's 5 interceptions for the Lincoln defense. Oh man, if their offense puts it together and comes back in this ballgame, they've got to thank their defensive backs. Nate Brown gets in on the action with an interception.
That's actually his second interception of the game. He had one earlier. Just a really great showing from the cornerbacks of Lincoln. The defensive backs are showing up huge. They've really been limiting Mike St. Green. You know, he's been throwing the ball a lot, but they've gotten the deflections, the interceptions, and they've been able to bring back their offense into this game.
Power I from the 41-yard line, a throw to the fullback, R.E. Mills, and Mills actually showing some nice power to turn upfield for 3 yards. Fox Highwind asks Cam if they would be interested in selling legend merch from the SFL, teams like Orlando, Indianapolis, the old New York Knights, Honolulu, etc.
Yeah, I think it's all about demand. You know, I mean, we could have a legacy series, but how many people are interested in buying it? If you're interested in buying legacy gear, just to say, you know, you've got a piece of SFL history, send me a DM, and that'll help me gauge it.
Nice pass into the middle. Tony Hall is running free down to the 21-yard line, and this is where, Ryan, the Rattlesnakes have bit themselves, pardon my pun, all game long, as they have not been able to convert in the red zone despite 5 takeaways.
Yeah, you're right. Once they get down to inside the 30-yard line, the field gets a lot shorter. It's a lot harder to get into that end zone. The yards, you really have to earn them. And for Lincoln, you know, you can't settle for another field goal here with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You have to get that touchdown on the board, take the lead, and take command of this game.
They are down by 4, 13-9. Oh, this pass was blown in the backfield. It's going to be a run from JQ on a blown play. It looked like they wanted to hand the ball off to God, but he was being tackled before he got the football from Q, so Q just took off.
Yeah, the offensive line from Lincoln fell apart a little bit there, but JQ took matters into his own hands. We saw that QB sneak earlier. He's able to run the ball out and get a couple yards.
And I wonder if plays like that will be in the Albuquerque playbook next week. We already mentioned PJ Slaughter has a nice running speed on him. Here is a throw out to the near side, and it's incomplete. Jay Moss with another. This one not a drop, but he was out of bounds. And on the subject of puns, we're down under 5 minutes here, so I think we're just about ready to let Cam go and start to work on the second game.
I'm here. I'm here all day. I can always come back.
But yeah, I'll wait till after this red zone situation. Over the middle, Q to the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for a haul, and it was knocked away. And actually, the Eruptor Tan, that's Jack Brown, asks if SFL Pro teams would field their own SFLm teams or just be affiliated with an already existing team.
Yeah, that's TBD. I think they would probably eventually, if you look at it like the NBA's G League, eventually those teams just kind of became acquired and part of the parent club family, and we would probably see that down the road.
Another made field goal from Cliff Allen. It's a 1-point game with under 5 minutes left. And here's a personal question, Cam. Throughout the season, if you don't know, the broadcasters for every game we do that's on TV, we have to fill out these broadcast forms with the things we want to talk about. So Marcus Agrippa, who does fantastic work behind the scenes, putting together some of the broadcast elements for the things you see on screen, can create them. I try my hardest to title those graphics with puns every week. And when they get put up on screen, almost all of them are changed.
Agrippa must not like puns. You have to get either that or they're just not that good. You'll have to get with him on that.
All right, well.
Wow.
Don't look at me.
Where I stand. Albuquerque with the 1-point lead, and now the ball. Here's a handoff up the middle. Connor Weston breaks 2 tackles, 12 yards, and a first down. That may be the most impressive run of the day by either running back right there.
Yeah, that was really good run. He's able to just take it up the middle. The hole opens up, and he shakes off 2 defenders, puts them to the ground, and that's something else that we haven't seen is these running backs haven't really been able to, break these first tackles that they've been getting. So they've been stuck at 3-4 yards, but that time he's able to break it upfield and get a first down.
First and 10 after the 12-yard run. Again in power I. Handoff, blown up in the backfield. Nice job by the defensive line for Lincoln. That was Chris Porter, his second TFL on the afternoon. Andy Hamilton says maybe I'm not that funny. Yeah, that's probably true.
Harsh, though.
Criticism is criticism. You have to take it and move on. Handoff up the middle, no go. 3rd and 14. This is a big one for both sides of the ball. If Albuquerque can convert this, they can run this down under the 2-minute warning. If Lincoln converts it, they get to hold on to some timeouts and have a crack at the lead. It's not often that an SFL game ends with one team not scoring a touchdown and still having a chance to win, but here we are.
This would be a great scoregami, 13-12.
It's only scoregami if it's never happened in the SFL before. And I don't have that right off the top of my head. Here is plenty of time and a great coverage sack as no one to throw to. Mike St. Green goes down. 4th sack of the game for him as Barbatov got home for his 1.5 of the game.
Yeah, and Lincoln's defensive line really took the game into their own hands on that drive. Stopping after the first down that Weston got, being able to stop him for a loss twice and get a sack. They commanded this game, giving their offense another chance and letting the Rattlesnakes fight back into this game.
The punter is Bennington. He gets it away from the 15-yard line. Should be decent field position for Lincoln, but this is a booming punt on their own side of the field. They start from their own 37, 2:23 to go. Down by 1. All they need to do is get into field goal range, but do remember that Cliff Allen does have 1 miss on the afternoon.
Thank you.
4 for 5 isn't great for the kicker, but you need to rely on that at this point. You need to give him a chance at this point.
Go ahead, Cam.
Thank you to everyone watching the minor league. I'll be around all day, and let's have some fun. Let's see what happens on this last drive. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin Irvine, for joining us in the broadcast booth and for answering our questions. And remember to stick around all day. All the SFLm action you can want. Minson Mind has a good point. I'll get to it in a minute. Here's a throw down the field, falling down and completing the pass into Albuquerque territory. Oh boy, Tony Hall comes up big in double coverage.
That is probably the biggest catch he's going to make this game. That was so huge for Lincoln, getting down the field and getting into field goal range.
We have hit the 2-minute warning, a 1-point lead for the Adams, but the Rattlesnakes are rattling and are in field goal range, looking to take the lead with 2 minutes to go. This is the inaugural game of the SFL's minor league. Right here on YouTube. Stick around for the finish. Vincent Bide says there's a 100% chance it's scoregami because this is the first ever SFLm game. That is true.
Yeah.
So. Looking to the near side. Pass complete to Moss. He rumbles that after a gain of 2. And if it does end up actually being 13-12, that may be SFLm scoregami for a while because it's an odd score.
Yeah, it's not very often that you see a 2 on the scoreboard, honestly.
A 2 on the scoreboard without a safety. And we've had plenty of opportunities for safeties in this game as there have been 4 drives, 2 for each team, that have started inside the 5-yard line. Here's Q. Oh, that was a dangerous throw as it was behind Tony Hall. And it brings up 3rd down and 8.
I like what he was doing with that pass, though. It looked like he was going for a back shoulder to Hall, and he would have been able to turn it upfield had he been able to make the catch. But I think Albuquerque defender got a hand on it, had something to say about it, broke up the play.
Here come the Rattlers, 3rd and 8 from the Albuquerque 29. They need to get inside the 22-yard line for a first down. Rolling out his cue, throwing off his back shoulder, it's knocked away. Great pressure from the defensive line forced the bad throw, and Blair knocked the ball down.
Now the Rattlesnakes are going to have to kick a field goal. This is going to be about a 46-yarder, so it's not guaranteed, but if they make it, they're going to take the lead, and Albuquerque is going to have to drive down the field again.
This probably will be, it will be definitely the longest field goal attempt of the day for Cliff Allen. This would be a 46-yarder. Kick on the way. Does it have the legs? No, it hits the upright. And it's a no-go for Allen. It's a 1-point lead holds for the Adams.
Oh my gosh, that is killer. It just barely didn't have enough boot on it. Just hit the upright. If it maybe was another yard closer, that would have gone in. It's absolutely heartbreaking for the Rattlesnakes, and they're going to have to get a huge stop, and it's going to be really close to get back down the field. They do have the 3 timeouts, but they have to stop Albuquerque.
Yeah, first down pretty much ends the game for the Adams. They're in the power I, and they're looking to Connor Weston to put a bow on this one. Handoff up the middle. Weston breaks free, and he goes down the field 40, 30, 20, to the 15, and he's hauled down. He breaks a tackle, and he's just slowed up enough to not get in the end zone, and he's down to the 7-yard line, and that should just about do it.
That was crazy. Weston breaks up like his longest run of the entire game at the best time when they need the first down. He gets it all the way down to the 7-yard line, and he turns it on when it matters most.
And when he broke Stackenpepper's tackle at about the 15, I thought he was gone to the end zone, but he was slowed up just enough for the rest of the Lincoln secondary to catch up. Let's see who actually made the tackle. It was KT Harrell, the linebacker. And now, I don't know if they're in kneel-down range or not. We'll see what St. Green wants to do here. Or they just try to put it in the end zone to try and really end this one with 1:33 to go. Handoff to Swift. And the second timeout is burned by the Rattlesnakes after a short gain.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, they're going to have to burn the timeouts for Lincoln, Albuquerque is, and then they can either try to put it in the end zone, try to put this game out of reach, or maybe try to get another field goal, and then a field goal doesn't win the game for Lincoln. A lot of options here for Albuquerque.
The playbook is open, and it's an I formation. Look for the ball to go to Weston. It will on a counter, and Weston's not going to get there. Nice one-on-one tackle by Harrell has now saved 2 touchdowns on this drive.
Yeah, and it was a good play. Now we're in a 3rd and goal situation for Albuquerque. Lincoln doesn't have any more timeouts, I believe. So this is going to be the time where they have to either put it in the end zone or kneel it down, run out some clock. Looks like they're going to try to go for the end zone.
3rd down and goal from the 4-yard line. A pitch to the tight end. Or to Weston, rather. There it is, the tight end, Iggy Swift, and he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. 4th and goal, with no timeouts left. Do you take a knee and give the Rattlesnakes the ball deep in their own zone, or do you kick a field goal here?
I would say you got to kick a field goal because Lincoln can come back with a field goal of their own if they were able to drive it down the field. That would win them the game. Field goal here makes it so that Lincoln can only win this game if they get a touchdown, which they have not been able to do the entire game.
Taco Sicario, this is a relative chip shot from about 20 yards. It's on the way, and it is good from 21. So the score moves to 16-12, a 4-point advantage for the Adams. 43 seconds, no timeouts. And it may come down to a Hail Mary situation for the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do, if they can get another drive going. They had something going here in the 4th quarter. JQ has finally started to settle in, got more comfortable passing the ball, but now he's going to have to run a hurry-up offense. He's going to have to get down the field in 40 seconds, which is already a big enough ask as it is. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Lincoln can do here, see if they can get down the field and win this ball game.
39 seconds. They're on their own 30-yard line with no timeouts. We've seen teams do it before. I remember a game in season 13 where Baltimore was in a similar situation against Vancouver and they won the game. So it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility, but it's going to take some big throws from Q. He stands in the pocket. He throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. And maybe better that it was incomplete to Barnett, because there was no way he was getting to the sideline.
Yeah, that's right. That conserves the clock for him, which is going to be a big part of this drive if they want to come back in this ball game. Clock conservation is going to be key, because if they can't conserve it, that will kill them. It will expire before they can get upfield.
Down by 4, 35 seconds left. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed this first game of SFLm. Michael Toretto, Ryan Cardell. Remember, we had Cameron Irvine, SFL Commissioner, on for a nice chat during the third quarter. Always great to catch up with Cam. Long drop from Q, throwing middle, knocked away again. The secondary of Albuquerque holding its ground, 3rd and 10.
This is the big play here. We're clearly in 4-down territory. They can't afford to give the ball over, because that's, of course, game over. So 4-down territory, they're going to get 2 more tries at this, but Albuquerque's defense has been so stout in stopping JQ when he tried to go for these short yardage situations. He's going to have to get some big yardage on this play.
3rd and 10, own 30. 30 seconds to go at the snap. Hugh fires middle, incomplete. Another great defensive play by Chad Nevels to break up that pass.
Yeah, the Albuquerque defensive backs have been all over the place, breaking up every single play that JQ tries to. Every receiver he tried to get the ball to, he's just not been able to get it there. And Albuquerque defense has shown up huge in this game.
Blanket coverage from the Adams defenders. 4th and ball game here. Got to get to the 40-yard line to keep any hope alive. 20 seconds left. 4 wide. Here's JQ. Throws underneath. Looking for a lane. Won't find it. And that will end the football game. It was Nathan Barnett who had the catch and could not get the first down. So the Albuquerque Adams will win the inaugural SFLm game 16-12 in a defensive affair that went back and forth. We had one big touchdown. It was Michael Potter who scored it. Congratulations to him. And now up in the best formation in football, the victory formation, is Mike St. Green, and all he has to do is kneel it down once. And the Albuquerque Adams can head to the sideline knowing their job is done. They are 1-0. Stick around after this one right here on YouTube at 4 o'clock. It's the Annapolis Navigators and the Minnesota Lynx. That's coming up right after our post-game show. Madison Lynx. Thank you, Cam. The Madison Lynx, not Minnesota Lynx. And that is with Tim Hackett and Mike Improta on the call. That's the end of the ball game. Your final score: Albuquerque 16, Lincoln 12. Ryan, break this one down for us.
Well, this was a defensive battle from the start. Both of the defenses came up to play. They limited both rushing attacks very well in this game. The front seven stepped up huge, and it was on the quarterbacks to try to win this ball game, get their team down the field. And Mike St. Green, though he had those 5 interceptions, he had a beautiful touchdown pass to Michael Potter in this game, and that really is what made the difference. There it is there. Just beautiful. He got upfield, and it was nothing but daylight after that. So Albuquerque's offense showed up when it mattered the most, and Lincoln had just not able to quite get it into the end zone. Too many field goals, and Cliff Allen had 2 missed field goals that would have changed the game.
Yeah. Good win for Albuquerque. They got both teams got a full SFLm schedule to play that will take us through the Major League off-season, and the championship game will lead us up to the draft. So don't worry, SFL football is now a year-round experience as the SFLm continues its inaugural game, as we see these stats and highlights for this one scrolling across your screen. Remember, again, defense was the name of the game. 5 interceptions for Mike St. Green, but he had the crucial touchdown pass that was the difference in the ball game. A bunch of sacks from both defensive lines. KT Haro had a great game. Mufasa Kamo had 2 sacks. Tina Begin had a sack. You know, and what do you think this means for SFLm going forward? Do you think we'll just see more defense across the board as coaches get adjusted?
I think it really shows how important quarterback play is in the minors. It really is a big part of the game. It can get your offense going, and I think that's going to be the biggest part, is seeing how these head coaches and offenses can shift to play with their quarterbacks, and how the defenses can react to that, how they can continue, if they can continue this great play that they've shown.
And we're gonna have to pick a player of the game. Gonna be kind of tough. I'm inclined to go, honestly, with Connor Weston because of that big run right there to seal the deal. Maybe Mike St. Green for his touchdown pass.
It really could be anyone. I would say maybe Michael Potter because of that play he had. We'll see what they give him.
And the player of the game is, you're correct, Michael Potter, with his only 1 reception on the day, but it was the 66-yard touchdown pass that won the game for the Adams. That'll do it for us here in Lincoln, Nebraska, alongside Cameron Irvine and Ryan Caudell. I have been Michael Turillo, and it's been a fantastic honor to open the inaugural SFLm game. Stick around for the rest of the games today, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.